Yo, guys, yo, guys, yo, guys, yo, guys, yo, guys. It is Old Man G here, RDS, back again for another live show. This time, obviously, giving you that late, well, UK late anyway, breakdown with my thoughts on the fact that it seems that Ruben Amorim to United has been agreed. Ruben Amorim will officially be the new Manchester United manager. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what this means. We'll talk about obviously rude. Obviously, Manchester United beat Leicester. It appears to be that he's not going to be in charge, Ruben, until I think the game against Ipswich, which is probably a good game to start, to be honest. Get that beat down on Ipswich. But before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter at Red Devil Studio X. That's Red Devil Studio X, guys. Yes, I have a new Twitter handle because Twitter decided to be not Twitter, Elon decided to be Elon. So if you would like to follow me on Twitter, I'm at We Are United X. Trying to get that followship back. I'll post it, the link in the my handle in the description. So please follow me there as well. So we'll also maybe talk a bit about how I think Manchester United should line up as well for the game against Chelsea. Hopefully, I'll be doing a preview with, I think, Abdullahi, maybe HH, with Chelsea this weekend, because the reality is, for all the talk about and the positivity, if Chelsea beat Manchester at Old Trafford, like Liverpool and Spurs have already, you could make a case that top four is over. Top four is over because we're already, I think, 7 or something points behind Chelsea, and this would make it like 9. You know, is that insurmountable? No, but I think that we need to beat Chelsea at home. Basically, we need to beat Chelsea at home somehow. Not only does that reduce the gap between us and Chelsea, but like it potentially gets us back in the top 4. Otherwise, you're relying solely on the Europa League to basically do it, and it'll be all into the Europa League to try and get us. Because if that doesn't work, then we're champion. There's no Champions League football for another year. So, but anyway, let's just get straight into it. So as you can see, the Fabrizio Romano post that was posted a while back, saying that Ruben Amorim can be considered new Manchester manager, confirmed. Portuguese coach will start a new Manchester chapter during the international break. That's the key thing. So, like I said, that will probably be after the international break. And if I just check it now, I'm fairly confident that Ipswich is the game that we play after the international break. It looks like it's probably Ipswich that we're playing after the international break. So, yeah. Documents to sign this week, contract until 2027. Now, that is interesting. I don't think a lot of people have spoken about this, about the length, because as United fans, we usually give, we've been given 3 4-year deals to managers under the old Manchester United, regime. It's been 3 or 4-year deal contracts that the club has given to certain managers. One thing I haven't seen people mention or talk about is the fact that his contract is only until 2027. So if we are, obviously he's coming in now, but technically speaking, his season isn't gonna really officially start in terms of how we judge him as a manager until 2025. So he effectively has just over 2 years to essentially prove himself, which, if you think about it, is actually not a lot of time. We did move quickly, and I think that's good, but it's interesting how it's actually not a lot of time to give Amorim to do much. Like, Ten Hag got a 3-year deal. Ollie, I think, got a 3 or 4-year deal. So is this a trend now with managers where we are giving them 2 years, 2.5-year deals to try and do something? Is this more of an insight into how Ineos are going to be or are going to run as a football club? Because, and maybe, and if I'm honest, I personally think this is probably the right way because, let's be honest, a lot of people are potentially already writing off this season, although I don't think they should, but the expectations are low. Amorim effectively has 2 years to turn the ship around. And if he doesn't, a new manager will come in. That seems to be where we're headed. And big up to in the chat, man. This move very quickly. Was expecting you guys to have rooted in the season, but it makes sense to let Amorim come early and basically use the season to have the players adjust to a start play. And that is agreed. I think that's one of the big differences between what I would say would be the solely Glazer-led situation. What's happening with Ineos is that if it was on the Glazers, what happened on the Glazers? Mourinho got sacked, and then we brought in Oli as an interim, and then we gave him till the end of the season, and then we gave him the manager. And Oli got sacked, and then we gave it to Ragnick, and then we promised him a few things, but he was interim to the end of the season. This is like, no, we can salvage the season. We can see what happens. Let's keep on going, and let's get in one of the best managers. Because make no mistake, Amorim was linked to, I think initially it was West Ham, then Liverpool interested, and City interested. But at the time, certainly last season, I think Sporting said, no dice, we need to keep him. Now, Manchester United, a big club, have come knocking. He's like, nah, I got to go. I've got to take this opportunity. And Amorim is one of the most touted. For me, it was always going to be between Amorim, Nagelsmann, and Inzaghi in terms of what I would, and in terms of potential, in terms of experienced up-and-coming managers. It was between those three. Anyone else is going to be a risk, like Maresca, Company, those guys who are doing okay, but it's a risk. So you either pick one of those three experienced managers, or you take a risk. That was basically, and United, Ineos decided, no, we're not going to take a risk. We're going to invest in Amorim, who City obviously like. Big up Don Ragnar in the chat, who I'm sure you and as well, we were sick and tired of. Finally, the ball terrorism from failing to Van der Gaag to Ten Hag has been defeated, and then we have a manager with a stress-free hairline. Well, hopefully he keeps his hair, because he's got a lot of work to do, and being a Portuguese, I hope like hell he's able to sort out Bruno and Dallo and all the rest of it. That's what I hope, man. That's what I hope. Yeah, most managers only need at least one season to get their things into place. If I had to pick, I would have gone for Conte if you guys were quick shaker, but that window was Mr. in the summer. I mean, I think I'll be honest with Conte. I think Conte's overhyped. I think Conte's overhyped. I think he's great in Serie A, and I think he was great pre-Pep in that era of, where that defensive type of football worked. But I think now, Conte in the league now, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Serie A, sure. Serie A, I'll give Conte Serie A. But in the Premier League, I just think he doesn't work. And we saw that with Spurs and a few things, So, he's chaotic, but I don't know, bro. I don't know. I didn't really see that when he managed Spurs when he came back. Spurs weren't better at all. And I just think that football in the Premier League at least has moved on since when he was manager. I just don't think that style Conte employs will work over 38 game season. And and his European success as well over the last year has been awful. Champions League form runs, it's been bad. But each their own. So regardless, Zahe, who I know who is knows more about the sports than I do, says he was interviewed by Chelsea and Liverpool, overlooked by both. It's personal for Amorim, kind of a point to its broken. Congrats, man. He's going to clear. I hope so, buddy, man. I hope so. Manchester United have sacked so many managers, and we need someone who can desperately turn the ship around. But also, I'm not holding my breath. And like I said, the fact that Ineos have given him only a contract 2027, which is basically only 2.5 years from now, because we're essentially the end of 2024. Well, we've got 2 months. We're in November, December already, so it's effectively 2 years. Only 2 years he's been given to turn the stuff. What, if that even? 2025, 26. Yeah, 2 years. Just over 2.5 years to turn the ship around. Will he? That remains to be seen. I'm looking forward to it. The players now have a point to prove. Who will stay? Well, we'll probably get into that later. But yeah, I mean, all I can say is you do have to give Ineos props here. You have to give Ineos props for getting this done, very quickly. And I guess the only thing you could say is should sorry, really and truly, should Ten Hag have stayed after the FA Cup? Because according to, I think, at least according to the Athletic, they were speaking with Amorim over the summer. So they contacted Amorim over the summer. I mean, Fabrizio goes on to say, I like everything about the Premier League. This is Amorim. I like everything about the Premier League. Manchester United, tomorrow after the game, I'll tell you everything. I'll cloud my situation. Now let's focus on the game. Which basically just saying, like, don't distract me from the game. I'll talk about everything later. But he's going. Obviously, up until the international break, that means we've got Ruud van Nistelrooy, who's going to be in charge. 5-2 win against Leicester. I mean, does it really prove anything? Probably not, because it was Leicester's reserves. We spanked teams already, but we need to be spanking teams in the league and scoring goals, which we haven't been doing. So 5 goals in the league. Yeah, we also scored how many against, was it Barnsley? And against Southampton, great. But, we need to score more. We need to score more. But, we'll see what happens. I'm just checking to see if there's any. Did Ornstein say anything? Yeah, I mean, if Athletic apparently says that Ten Hag wanted Danny Welbeck, so okay, that's something. We didn't get him, obviously. Let's see if Pletico said anything, and then. I mean, Pletico says Manchester will pay around 15 million euros for Ruben Amorim and his coaching team. It's quite a lot. On top of the 30 million that we're paying for Ten Hag to be at playoffs, that's 20 million. So some players getting sold. Luke Shaw, Mason, I'm looking at you. Total agreements mutual between all parties, contract to be signed. This will happen shortly, and so on. So 50 million for Amorim and his coaching team. It's not 10 million for all of them, right? Okay. Some people saying it's 10 million or something. Anyway, so yeah. By the 15 million. Let's see what happens. Tupper says, yeah. He also is back to Conte. Yeah, he's several cups. He relies heavily on having one game a week. That's why he usually wins it. Well, exactly. Abracadabra says, artists, if United beat London Cowboys. Well, no, not United. If Ruud beat London, I hope we do. We need to beat Chelsea just for pride. I can't remember the last time Chelsea beat Manchester United at Old Trafford. We should have beaten them at Stamford Bridge, but Ten Hag. I mean, now I'm gonna say this. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's disappointing that it's the way that Ten Hag ended. But I'm sorry, but like the amount of records and things that happened to Ten Hag, like even Ollie didn't have to deal with. Like Ollie was not. Yes, we lost 5-0 at Old Trafford to Liverpool, I think, under Solskjaer, but 7-0 at Anfield, and then losing in the FA Cup, giving the treble to City when it was only United in the English club to have the treble. We gave it. See, that was under Ten Hag's watch. Like, man. And then so many small things. I'm like, nah, bro, man, nah. He had to go. He had to go. RDS, do you think Ineos wasted the first 2 months, or did they do the right thing? Maybe looking at the back and the back and it just said to give them time to see. Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one. I don't know. I think that had he lost I think we can't deny that the FA Cup, Ten Hag winning the FA Cup made a big difference. Ten Hag winning the FA Cup made a big difference for Amorim coming to for Ten Hag staying. I think if he loses the FA Cup, he's gone. He wins the FA Cup. It means that they've secured European football, i.e., the Europa League, a backdoor chance into getting the Premier League. You know, maybe the dressing room are still supportive of him. And you know, is there any manager that's readily available that because you know you're not thinking about paying X amount for Amorim and all the rest of it? Is there? It's a difficult one, is what I would say. We can say it in hindsight, because I think the excuse was, well, you know, Ten Hag hasn't worked onto a structure yet. He's not had the thing. Okay, we're going to work on a structure and see what happens. He's had the structure, he's had the backing, relatively speaking, like any manager would, and it's not worked. You know, 14 being 14th after 9 games is not good enough for any manager in the Premier League, let alone Manchester United. So yeah, he had to go. You know, it is what it is. 14th. Oh yeah, it was long days. Sorry. 14th FC. I'll bring you in 2 seconds. Sorry, I just noticed that you're in the chat. So give me a second. This is actually open, by the way. I posted the streamer link, so you want to come and have your thoughts and let me know. The sacking should have happened after the cup with LVG. That's what I'm saying. It's hindsight, but you know, it is what it is. Samasi, guys, I'm free from the Samasi. It seems you've been proven right. Solo says, I understand saying sacking him to cut, but if he still has the back in dressing room, you also feel maybe he can work in your structure. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. But I suspect, but you know, that's why I'm saying that you cannot say Ten Hag wasn't supported. But then the other argument is that if you are, how invested are you as a manager if you know that you're bored? Because I think the worst thing that happened was them saying we are looking for a new manager. I don't think that was useful. So by the way, guys, for the 20 of us, which makes you subscribe, like the stream, subscribe to a Devil Studio bottom right corner. I don't think that was helpful saying that, because then it's like, we're looking for a new manager. You know, how invested can you be as a coach if you know that they are actively looking for someone else? I don't know. Don Marcus says Mason Mount needs to bounce. He has the number 7 but can't make the final 11. That's crazy. That's wild. So we do need to take number 7 from him, though. We do need to take number 7 from him. He shouldn't have, Mason Mount should not have the number 7 top at all. A number 7 has to play. You know, he's getting the record as potentially one of the worst number 7s in Manchester United history. Not his fault of his injuries, but it kind of, even Di Maria did stuff. Mason Mount hasn't done anything, you know, so it's getting sad. It's getting sad. Right, let me bring in 14 FC in to have his thoughts. And like I said, guys, if you want to have your thoughts, the StreamYard link should be in the chat. So please, I'll just quickly see if I can pin it so that there we go. I'll pin it just in case you guys want to come on, and make sure you follow me in my new Twitter handle at Red Devil Studio X. Please do. It makes a difference. Right. Let me just change my layers. So I need to do that when I get someone else in. Right. Yo, 14 FC. How are you doing?
How are you? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Long time, RDS. Long time, brother.
Long time.
Oh, you don't even remember. You don't even recognize who it is. That's the.
I know. That's the thing. Like, but you've been on the show before, but like, obviously not under the 14 FC name. That's obviously
Nah, it's me. It's me, Annie. Innit? It's me, Andy. Yeah, like, oh, bro, long time. I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy that Ten Hag is like. I'm not even just happy. I'm ecstatic that he's gone, because we've been through so much crap these last 2 years, and it's just a breath of fresh air, because you can see it on some of the players' faces. Like Ahmed was smiling, Casemiro's hitting goals like the top bins, Bruno's scoring goals, like everyone's scoring goals, and you're just here like, okay, so if you guys were doing this today, so what happened against West Ham?
Yeah,
I don't get it. I didn't get it. Like, did you
Well,
like, actually down tools?
well, well, this is the thing. This is why, like, I'm very, I know a lot of people are ecstatic about getting the new manager bounce, but my response has been to be very reserved about the whole thing. Big up Rich in the chat as well. United, big up, hope you're doing good. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. I'm very reserved about this whole thing because we've been here before and we've had new manager bounces before. This script, we had it with Ollie to a certain extent, with Ragnick to a certain extent, early with Ten Hag as well. And it's like, I just don't trust this team, these players yet. I just don't trust them because, as you said, oh yeah, we're scoring goals, cool. So it's like, okay, so why couldn't you put these finishes away against Fenerbahce, against West Ham, against why couldn't you do? And even if you start doing that, how can I trust that you're going to continue doing that till the end of the season and next season beyond? I don't know. I don't know. So
it's too many scenarios and occurrences where we've needed these guys to put these goals away, and they haven't. Like the one that really sits with me the most isn't the Liverpool 3-0 or the Spurs 3-0. It's like the Galatasaray's away or the Copenhagen's away where we were clear, like 2 goals, 3 goals, and they just kept throwing it away. And I was just here like, seriously, guys, just one day. Can you not give me one day where you don't embarrass me? Like, it's crazy. But
that was
yeah,
the thing.
like
Ten Hag's reign, unfortunately, is like if we'd actually seen out the games where we were ahead, Ten Hag probably would still be in a job. If we saw out the games where we were ahead, and you labeled some of them: Galatasaray, Copenhagen. Check those games.
Oh my God.
So many different games where we're 2-0, 3-0, all this stuff at their head, and yet we threw it away in these games, or we drew, or we lost, etc. It's like he probably would still be in a job, but somehow he couldn't see our games. I don't know how, I don't know why, but sorry, go on, finish point. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like you said, like I don't get it. Like it's not my problem. It's not just him. I just feel like some United fans are really, what's the word? Certain United fans, a certain part of our fan base are really warped because they don't understand it's not just Amorim or it's not just Ten Hag or it's not just Mourinho. It's not just the players. Like the culture of Man United, like it's so bad. Like I don't know where like the root of the culture is right now because like I don't get it. Like players and managers come here and after having big acclaim, they come here, they do crap, and then they leave, and some of them be winning. Like I know McTominay is not the best player, but look how happy McTominay is playing for Conte in Italy. Like the guy's top of the league with Conte. Like people left here, like Darmian left here, won a league title with Inter. Ashley Young left here, won one. Sanchez won one. Di Maria went to Juve, PSG. They were winning titles. So I don't get why all these good players come here and then they hit United, they start off well, and boom, they disappear. And you're like, what? It's like Bruno. Bruno came here, was like one of the highest goal scoring midfielders in the whole of Europe's top 5, did it for a season, disappeared. And you're like, what's going on? Why is all of you players coming here and all of you turning sour? But yeah, like you said, well reserved because like I feel like some of us have been burnt too much by all the managers that have been coming in. But it does make sense that Ineos got Amorim because like why were they so adamant on getting Ugarte? Because of the whole summer we were like, no, we can get Fofana or we need to get Sanderberg, he's a controller, but they were very adamant with Ugarte, and I was like, okay, something doesn't smell right here. You lot really want this guy. You really want him that much.
And did want McTominay to stay.
Exactly. So I'm wondering, and like you said, well, this Welbeck news as well. I was like, Welbeck, really?
I mean, to be honest, like, let's be honest. Are you saying that Welbeck isn't better than what we have?
Yeah, Welbeck's better than everything that we have. But it's better than it would be cheap, but Like,
Yeah,
I know Brighton would have said to us, nah, 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 nah. You
yeah,
ain't getting him for like 5 million, 6, 7 million. You're gonna pay 9 on 20 million for a face, something like that. I was like,
yeah.
nah, I can't do that. But I get it. We can say thank you, Ten Hag, for all the trophies and stuff like he won, but at the same time, the issues and what we watched for the last 2 years, we can't unsee it because there's so, like you said, there's so many games where we were watching, we were like, why can't you start this player? Like, this player is so bad, in so much bad form. Why don't you start a
Mm.
different player and try to give him around? Like Ahmad was just looked so upset. Like, the guy was our player of the month and then got dropped, and I was just here like, why?
Because Anthony was doing well in training.
It doesn't make sense to me. Like, how could you, like, everyone, like, here's an example. People were like, Eden Hazard didn't train, but when it come to match day, the guy's locked in. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, why can't you just pick someone who does well in training and then does well on match day? Like, he was our best winger up until Garnacho decided to find out that he could score again. Like, it didn't make sense to me. So I'm just here, like, fingers crossed. Fingers, is that some
Yes, Samasi, I hear Samasi.
Sabasi's
Freedom,
free?
freedom,
Sabasi's
freedom,
free.
freedom test, great. Freedom test. RDS, I have been shackled by Ten Hag's terrorism, okay? Shackled.
Oh,
It was like 10 Bin Laden should be in jail because crimes against football. Let's
oh my
face it.
God. Preach,
This is
Sabasi.
dangerous. I,
It's
I I
go on,
went
Samasi.
alone. I went alone to Man United because I thought the transfer window was good, and
It
I
was.
still think the transfer window was good. That is, but I forgot that we have a terrorist in charge. That 10 Bin Laden was in charge, and I was praying for this God downfall. This guy broke every negative record for Man United. We are 14th. Man United were 14th. This is not, the players are not the greatest. They're at 14th level of bad. Okay, that's on Ten Hag. Ten Hag
Mm.
is one of the worst man managers. He got on with no one. Sancho, Rashford, Bruno, Ahmad. Ahmad is a young player. All he needs is little bit of encouragement. He's
Yeah.
gonna eat at your hand, and he couldn't even do that. So
Mm.
10
Mm.
Bin Laden, see you never, you bald fraud. Oh my god, I hate him so much. I
It's
popped a
Samasi,
bottle of
Samasi,
champagne. I popped a
Samasi,
bottle of champagne
Samasi. Let me
when
ask
I
you a
found
question for
that he got
Samasi.
sacked.
What happens if, for example, let's say company doesn't do well. Let's just say
Oh
theoretically
no.
he
Listen,
goes.
I'm staying as long as it's needed to stay.
But what
I'm
happens?
staying.
But what happens
Wait.
if Bayern Munich hire Ten Hag as their next manager? What
On
would you
my
do?
Oh
days.
my, Sabasi, you're
What?
On my,
welcome to stay with us as long as you
I'm
need to.
gonna stay. I'm gonna stay. Adios. If Ten Hag is the next Bayern manager, I'm going out for a 2 season, 3 season loan. It's
I
gonna be
mean,
long. It's gonna
company
be.
hasn't company hasn't done bad so
Yeah, no,
far.
Listen,
yeah, no, they're
he
not.
failed the
Except for
test
the
twice.
Barca loss, except for that Barcelona
Listen,
loss, because that was
he
shocking. I was
lost.
like,
He
there's
lost
no
against
way.
Villa. He lost against
Oh
Villa.
yeah, and he
Yeah,
lost against Villa.
Listen,
that was not
listen,
You would think someone who's played in the Premier League would know how to handle a
listen,
Premier League team.
listen,
it's
listen.
Emery, so it's a bit
Look,
different.
you
It's
know,
not the first to be fair.
I've heard say people thought me mad. Look who's laughing now. Bayern got beaten 4-0. Company looks like a fraud in the UCL. When we're getting a great manager with oh, I can't speak his name.
Ruben Amorim, I
Amorim.
think. Yeah, yeah.
And
Just call him Big Ruben.
the the players we actually bought suit him. De Ligt above playing centre back. Masrari as a wing back. Ugarte, he played with Ugarte.
Of course.
Actually, and with the players we have, it could actually work. It could actually work. So he doesn't have to do a lot. There are players he can work with. There are players, listen, Casemiro, Looks like all Casemiro again. Is he gonna be the future of Man United? No, but for this transition period, he will be good enough. Listen, Man United can cook. If everything goes to plan, like even listen, I think he was a backup. They were not 100% convinced with Ten Hag. I think they had in mind, and that's why they bought these players. I
Yeah.
think Indians are not idiots. They saw there were signals how bad Ten Hag could be. So I think they
Mm.
thought the best manager to get for these players we have right now is Amorim. And I tell you, I like how he plays. I like a free at the back with the spin backs. I think it gives Man United a better structure defensively. We could actually dominate games with that structure. So
Sorry to interrupt you,
I've
Samasi. I see Rich in the background. I'm going to bring him in as well. So just give me a second. I'm going to stop sharing the
yes.
screen, so a bit more space. I'm just
Listen,
going to welcome Rich, who's a good friend of mine. Rich, buddy, how you
Hey, G.
doing?
I'm good, mate. How you doing?
No, thank you for coming on. So for those of this is Rich, who's also on United TV fan channel and posts a lot of good content. So, and a good friend of mine as well has been doing a content creation for quite some time. Who's also been covering this whole Amorim spiel. So, obviously, as a fellow United fan, Rich, like, what have been your obviously? You know, I think we don't have to go into the fact that we probably agree that Ten Hag had to be sacked. I don't think we have to go back there again. We know we have to. So, I guess the question is like, what are your thoughts on this appointment and what do you think Amorim will do?
I think it's a really positive appointment. That everything that's coming out, and like I said, I do a lot of streams covering this. Everything that I'm seeing in the comments, that little bits of information I'm getting from different people, it's all overwhelmingly positive. And we're talking tonight about how we could play setting up 3-4-3 or how we could play different formations. And a lot of it seems to be in terms of like we've got a lot of players that get the best out of this position or this sort of setup already, and it's maybe we're closer to being a better like a good team than we realized because we know like a poor setup makes players look worse. But one thing that was interesting was a Sporting Lisbon fan joined the comments and we just obviously they were say on the flip side they were disappointed because he's been a great manager for their club. They've done really well the last few years, got a couple of titles, and he was really gutted that they're losing him. And we were just saying like who else could leave, and maybe like they got a very good striker and good carers. So I'll pronounce that wrong, I know, but he was just saying that he'll get the best out of players. But one thing is he won't take any nonsense, and when players like get accused, like as soon as we beat Leicester, loads of
good,
people were saying,
good.
"Look, it's the players," and I think what they're saying is he won't take nonsense, but he's got a lot of time, hasn't he? He's got the rest of the season to find out what the squad can do. But one of the things was interesting. He's saying maybe Bruno will have a different role, like maybe further forward, possibly like replacing Rashford. So maybe we'll have two people behind the striker. It could be like a combination of players, but it could be like Bruno, it could be Ahmad Jallo. And I'm just wondering whether this might be a breath of fresh air for some of these players because we know that in the right environment, Bruno Fernandes can look great. We know that Rashford has had seasons where he's looked great, and there's a lot of players that maybe have been made to look worse over the last season, and people have been, calling it like every other game, this player's trash. We know that on their day when things are set up well, these players can look a lot better. So I'm overwhelmingly positive. There's still like a risk, isn't there? Because it's a league he's managed in. He's coming to Manchester United, the scrutiny and the pressure. But it feels like a proper reset because this is the first manager coming in that's going to come in with a proper football structure behind him. That's going to get that if he says like I need this player profile, I believe that the way we recruit players now is a lot more professional. It's a lot better. So we're not going to be just like throwing darts at a list of players and picking who's available. We're going to be properly building a team. So I couldn't be more positive, honestly. It feels like a genuine turning point in Manchester United's like fortunes for me.
No, I think that's I think that's a good take, Rich, and it's. I mean, I don't know whether it's because I've been burnt, and I think it'd be nice to sort of see. I've got a lineup builder, so you probably just where we can maybe see how he would line up or who would play. I don't know whether it's because I've been burned by Manchester United for so many years that I'm still in my kind of skeptical kind of. It's nice to see Ineos have taken a quick measure to try and resolve the situation with Ten Hag quickly. However, just like what I expected to see, I expected Manchester United to destroy Leicester City. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat Chelsea at home, even though I'm still worried about that game, because we've seen this before with these players, this club where, sack a manager, get a good bounce, get on a run, maybe get some short-term success with a trophy in the following season, and then in 2-3 years' time, it just all falls apart. So I hope that this time this breaks the whole cycle. But I can't even say I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm just cautious because we've just been here, but we've been here so many times before. And as I think 14 FC actually said earlier before everyone else came on, was the fact that there've been good, decent managers that have come to Manchester United prior to coming to Manchester United and have left like worse or as failures, as it were. They weren't seen as failures. Even Jose, Ollie, okay, vibes, fans, etc., fine, whatever. But certainly Ollie and Ten Hag, to a certain extent, Moyes, they came from those clubs as highly regarded managers, and they left Manchester United as not. And we don't want to be seen now as the club where highly regarded managers basically come to die, almost like the footballing Afghanistan. You know what I mean? Like where Manchester United is that basically. So
Damn.
it's where empires come to die. Where managers
eras come to end.
Eras come to an end at Manchester United. Is not.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case. I hope that's.
I
I think in the past though, like Mourinho had to deal with like some weird transfer windows, didn't he? And looking at what we've bought, I think the problem is that some of the managers have come in and we've had some crazy contracts. Like who thought Anthony was worth? We scouted him. We valued him at 25. We paid what 85. It's absolutely crazy, isn't it?
That's just bananas.
No, it's because
that.
Ten Hag was adamant on getting Anthony, and they were like, just whatever it takes, go and get him. And I'm just here like the Glazers, John Murta, all of them that were there. I was just like, come on, guys, like use your head. Surely you could have found, I don't know, someone in the Prem who was about 25, 30 million and could fit Ten Hag's system. Clearly not.
100%. I think it's underrated that you look at teams in the Premier League for players that can step up to Manchester United, and even like Gyökeres was playing for Coventry, wasn't he?
I
think Amorim wanted him. He said, "I want that player." That he was saying he wanted.
Because he was at Swansea. I think it was the Swansea, and then he went to Coventry, and it was his last 2 seasons at Coventry where he started to take off. And Amorim came in I think, is it just after or a year or two after he joined? Because remember the whole sporting incident where the fans rushed the team at the training ground. It was a bit crazy. So sporting fans were like, he's the guy that dragged them out of that because he was getting rid of older players. Half of the players left, and he was using the youth. So
he just actually, someone said that the sporting fan was telling me tonight that he also reduced the age of the squad, and he really and Manchester United fans, it's a big thing, isn't it, in terms of our youth academy and the players coming through. And he favours a young team, and our transfer window seems to be very much. It's almost like this. The transfer window is suspiciously matching what Amorim would want in terms of we got Ugarte, player that thrived under him. We're reducing the age of the squad. We're moving on older players. We're buying players like from Arsenal, the academy, to boost our own. So everything looks like I know G's like right to be skeptical because Manchester United fans have been burnt a lot, but lots of the plans and the things that are happening are things that we've been crying out for years in terms of like organize the club properly, sort out the academy. Every function, every area of Manchester United seems to be being improved. I really want to see an improvement in terms of like injury prevention, or at least training more sensibly, and recovery from injuries has got to be improved. But in terms of like every age group at Manchester United is thriving at the moment. So you'd naturally assume that over the next like 2, 3, 4 years, some of these players are going to come through, and that's really going to help as well. And if you get players from the academy forming, a core of your team, for me, there's like so many positives. I don't want to get too crazy, G, but it's been a wilderness of positivity until recently, and I've just been like doing streams like week in, week out, going, "What am I watching?" And so I'm clinging on to positives now.
Yeah. You've got to hold on to it.
It got so bad that I had to stop watching the youth team. I watched Chido Obi score a hat trick in 15 minutes, and I was like, if we can figure out a way to get these young boys to start playing at a level where they can replicate that on the main stage, then I'm happy to sit back and wait. Like,
I know people that stop watching.
I've got so SK is in the chat. I know SK is a Chelsea fan. So SK, thanks for joining us, buddy. Can you hear me? Are you there, SK?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm here, audience.
So as a club that's like obviously spent like a lot of money on a lot of young products, and has seen some semblance of success, maybe. What do you think about what Manchester United have done regarding the Ten Hag situation, and obviously now hiring Amorim under like the new management, if that makes any sense?
Well, I mean, I do think it's a bit weird because I feel like if they were going to get rid of Ten Hag, then I don't understand why they didn't do it in the summer. Like, I know there was all the talk about the PSR and the 17 million that they didn't want to spend, or have to spend to like get rid of him. But I mean, it's October, so they got rid of him anyway. So it's kind of like you already put the bullet on it, so you might as well have done it when you had a chance to bring in a new manager, embed him into the system, and start the season, fully transition from what the old guard was doing. So, but I mean, it had to happen. You can't break your worst start to a season 2 years running, and at a club like Manchester United, and then think you're gonna be in the institution long term. So, it's probably for the best that he's not here anymore. And in terms of embedding in the young players, I mean, as you know, at my beautiful football club, it comes with its up and downs. Because the thing with young players is that they're going to be very inconsistent. They're not going to be reliable because they're still developing into their bodies. They're still developing into their skills, their tendencies, there's all of that. So it's definitely a process. One of the things that I wish Chelsea had done when they were doing this is to have an established core that you build around, so that by the time the young players do develop, the transition is more seamless. This is something that Manchester City has been really good at doing. When you look at like the type of team that they had in 2019 compared to where they were at during the treble winning season, obviously you still had some of the main constituents like your De Bruyne's, your Bernardo Silva's, your Gundogan's before he left to Barca. But other players had left, transitioned, came through. Real Madrid, another club that's been really good at doing this now. So I would say like building on young players is fine as long as you have a stable core that can make up the majority of your team, I would say. And then just embedding it slowly, because that way it gives the time for the young players to try, fail, rebound, and without all the pressure of being having it work immediately.
Okay, that's fair. Thanks for the perspective. So what I just thought we'd do would be, because obviously we've all shared our thoughts on Amorim. I thought it'd be nice just to have I'll just share this now.
And can I also say?
Yeah, so go on.
He rebuilt. He always has to get. Sporting always has to sell their best players, and he built his team twice already. So that's a good thing to have.
No, I agree with that. So although he's got just over 2 years to try and figure it out, right? So I think, can everyone see that
Mm-hmm.
lineup generator here? Cool. Right. So I thought it might be good in chat. Obviously, again, vote as well. Because like I said, I'll be honest on here. I haven't watched sporting that much. I've not watched sporting that much. I don't really watch much of the Portuguese league, aside from when they were in the Champions League. I watched them. So I will be honest. I'm not familiar with Amorim's tactics yet, anyway. So for those on the panel and those in the chat, might be a good idea to see what, as a prediction, what Amorim's starting 11 or formation might be like, and then once we get the formation, what players do you think, given how he plays? I mean, so here it says he plays 3-4-2-1.
I thought he plays three. I think his natural is 3-4-3, but Zahir's right as well. He plays 3-4-2-1. I think is it when they're attacking or when they're one of the two, when they're attacking or when they're defending.
So,
One of the two.
How do I change the formation again? I think yes, here it goes.
Yeah,
So
I think
let's say
3-4-2-1, 3-4-3 might look similar when you set it
Mm.
up, depending on how you place
I
the
think,
white players.
yeah, I just think how he Amorim sets it up in a sense on the field.
I'm Portuguese. I watch every game he plays, and so he says Kazu says I'm Portuguese. I watch every game he plays 3-4-3.
3-4-3.
4-2-1, 3-4-3. It's I guess it's effectively, it's essentially effectively the same.
Yeah.
So based on that, because Manchester United haven't traditionally played or plays 3-4-3 attacking, okay, I'll change the 3-4-3 attacking. That's fine. Manchester United don't really play with a back three. So I'll pass it on to Rich and others. Like if this is obviously the case, obviously, you know, I'm for now anyway, I'll make this the goalkeeper. I would imagine it's going to be Onana. I don't think that's going to change.
Yeah. I guess at the moment you've got like
Oh, no.
Martinez and like where does Euro fit in? Haven't seen him play yet.
I'm saying the back three is Martinez, De Ligt, and Euro.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay. Martinez, De Ligt,
I think
and Euro.
Branthwaite's possibly like a long-term target to replace
Yeah.
Martinez.
I think
Is
Martinez
Euro-
is going to. I think they're going to try and get rid of Martinez because I'm not sure they're fully confident with his injury record. And on top of that, I'm now starting to think: is there a reason why they kept Maguire and Johnny Evans? Because
I mean,
they might have had this in there.
Maguire doesn't have the pace, but I've always said that Maguire has always played better in a back three.
Back three, maybe that's why.
His thing, you know. So like,
but RDS is going to be a bit different though in this specific back three because you know the type of back three that
Amorim
Maguire.
likes his ball playing centre back, so I don't think Maguire is it.
I mean, Maguire is decent at ball playing. The bigger issue is going to be that because usually when Maguire plays well, when he at Leicester or even under Ollie, is because Man United were soaking up pressure, counterattacking, so he didn't really have to worry about covering too much space as opposed to just covering in front of him. Whereas Amorim's definitely more of a high risk, high reward type of manager in terms of his pressing structure and how that bleeds into his formation. So even with the back three, I think if you were to start someone like a Maguire, it would leave him too exposed, given like what Amorim's game plan is.
Someone said last night he likes quite pacey centre backs, so maybe that's a bit more mobile.
With this formation, it means that United will have to go in the summer to get at least two other centre backs, because if these three are the ones that are going to start, then the only other centre backs you have on the bench are Evans, Maguire, Lindelof.
So I think you look at Luke Shaw as possibly being like a left centre back, but he's so injury prone. I think we need to look at getting a left wing back to probably.
But this is why I think they're looking at Alphonso Davies, because he might be good, but he's asking for crazy money as wages. So I was like, no, forget it.
He's potentially available free. Someone was saying potentially available free.
But he wants. I think someone said 300K or something like that, and I was like, no.
But it could be free. It could be free if he doesn't sign a new contract.
If there's no contract, I guess the money might be the same, and you'll just take the transfer fee and salary, which Okay, I don't really want players on crazy money, but if he's out of contract, he's got leverage,
If
isn't he?
he's free, it's actually plausible to
Is there
get him.
anyone from, given that obviously Amorim is coming, is there anyone from Sporting that could
Ignacio.
potentially?
Yeah, and Inacio is the big one.
Ignacio, the big one. Him and not as a centre back, but Nuno Mendes as well. Like, that's another person we need to be looking out for as well.
Does everyone think, before we go into promotion, that because we do have because
It
we have a
could be-
Portuguese manager coming in, are we going to sign more Portuguese, Brazilian? Is there going to be a connection? Are we going to, because clearly under Tenang, we did sign Dutch players / players who play in Eredivisie. Is there going to be a similar thing with Amorim here? There's going to be a lean towards that, or no?
I think he might just buy, because at Sporting he has the players to play the system. So I'm wondering, will he find players who are better or up to the level that aren't in the Portuguese league outside in other parts of Europe that he can bring in? Because surely when they've had this conversation with, they must have been looking at other players in and around Europe. Because I remember they said they were also talking to that winger at Southampton, Dibley, as well. They were also looking at him as well.
Yeah, I guess there's probably a good chance that he's got a lot of the season to go, so he can figure out maybe which players he thinks would be worth bringing over. Because I know a lot of people think, like, Eric Ten Hag didn't work out that well. I know Ineos will be giving the manager less say, but I'm sure they'll take viewpoints on board. Remember when Mourinho went to Chelsea, he took Carvalho and Deco, 2 players that worked out well. So I'll be looking at that thinking maybe like 1 or 2 players max, because you look at that and thinking, that he's got to see how the Premier League is to start with. It might be, players might look great in the Portuguese league, and the Premier League might be a tricky step up, but there's definitely going to be, I'm sure, some players that could fit in. But it's going to be interesting. Maybe he's going to have to evaluate the squad and work out where's Bruno's best position, like how does Rashford, Ahmad Diallo, Garnacho fit in, and just work out where the weaknesses are in the squad. But I think the situation with centre backs is a good one in terms of, like, Branthwaite can play left as well, can't he? But also there's a lot of people rating him in terms of mobility, great in the air, tackling left and right footed, 2-footed player as well. So I think they've done their homework in Yost. I think there's a lot of people, if they can get someone from Sporting and maybe the price isn't too crazy and they've got more guarantee of working out because they've got a manager that knows exactly what the player's capable of, then they'll go for it. But I think they're going to have a lot of options already to discuss.
Yeah, I'm thinking if they're saying Gyökeres is 70 million euros, so, but then the next one is, does United really need another striker, or do they need to figure out how to, as a team, score goals collectively? Because that's United's problem. They say we've created the most big chances or missed the most big chances, but we're not scoring the goals. So we need to figure out how to get the team collectively to create more chances and put them in the back of the net.
Well,
so maybe a number 9 is good, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well,
but
the thing with Amorim,
I would say United need at least a midfielder. At least.
I was gonna say the thing with Amorim is that if there's like one of his main tenets in his tactics is that he creates chances for strikers. His tactics are there to generate chances for strikers. RDS. I know you rate Haaland very highly. So with this guy that he now has coaching him, we're gonna see just how good this guy is. So no more, he doesn't get enough chances. His teammates can't find him. So if he's legit, then he should be eating now. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Do you want to swap Martinez, G? Because Martinez should be on the left. Do you want to swap?
He should be on the left. But I feel like if we're gonna,
I was like going, okay, I'll speak to G. I think Agate is like a definite, isn't he? Do you think we see like Agate Mainu and then Agate Casemiro, and we see Mainu not having to play 30 games in a row and see him getting properly used?
I have a crazy shout.
Mainu Agate or Mainu Casemiro.
Where does Eriksen? There's a lot of questions, isn't there? But I think Mainu's got.
Eriksen could be used as a number 10
off the bench and off the bench. But I have a crazy shout. I feel like as much as we have all these players here, I feel like a few of them are not going to be here. Even some fan favorites. I
You know,
genuinely think
I'm
some of
I'm
them are
very
not going to be here.
I'm very curious about Bruno. I'm
Yeah,
very curious about
Well, you'd
Bruno.
imagine he. I'm only going by the fact that they're both Portuguese, but you'd imagine that he will, especially if you're the new manager coming in.
Like,
I don't know how good Amon's, well, I'm sure Amon's English is fine. So, but I mean,
and
in terms of settling in,
and
you'd imagine
guys,
you'd go to Bruno.
Amorim
and
doesn't use wingers like Rashford.
Mhm.
Amorim is Rashford's gonna be wing back? And can he actually
yeah,
play?
this is the thing.
That's gonna
Wing
be my
back.
question
You know
because
what's funny? Do you know who my outside shout is to be your wing back? You guys can look at me kind of crazy.
Go on. I think I know.
A certain fidget spinner. I think we could do
Yes, I was thinking.
a
I was
shift
like,
at wing
watch
back.
him do sessions. Wing back, Anthony. Let's hear it.
No,
Oh wait,
unironically, I'm actually being so dead ass. I think he could do a job
he
at
actually
wing back.
I
can.
thought about this as well. Wing back Anthony might be because I remember when he did that one shift at left back, and I was like, "Are you sure you're a winger?" Like, because he was doing better. He tracks back. He was running. He was getting tackles in. I was thinking, this might be the trick. Like, what's going on here? We might have stumbled upon something.
Because the thing with Amorim too is his press is so aggressive that it's not like it's not like Anthony's gonna be playing that far from the goal.
Yeah,
Anyway,
You
so I'm
so,
know,
thinking,
wait, so you guys think I should
there's
put
one.
Anthony here? Anthony as a wing back here. Is that what
I
everyone's
mean,
saying?
yeah,
I don't know how probable it is, but I think it could work. I think
I think Mazraoui's got a good shout.
I think
yeah.
Mazraoui is
Anthony and
perfect.
Mazraoui on the wing backs. That might
Actually
be.
perfect.
I think with like Rashford's not a winger, but if you put Rashford more in the channels, closer to the goal, behind the striker, I think Rashford is still one of the best finishers in the club. That's where he thrived under Ollie when we had a more compact front three with like say Rashford, Marshall, Greenwood. When Rashford was a lot closer to goal, if he's getting the ball wide, Rashford looks terrible when he's got a lot of space to defend. He's wide, so I think you try him there. But I think a lot of people are saying that maybe Bruno plays there.
Mm,
As a
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that this is what in the comments that Ricardo was telling me, who's a Sporting Lisbon fan, said that Bruno might be looking at Rashford's position.
interesting.
and obviously, because he's Portuguese, he's gonna want to impress the new manager. So some of these guys, but like you said, Adia, some of these guys, like, still, I don't trust some of these guys because we've seen some of them. Like, but another person that I would say would be a good shout for wingback is the left back at Bournemouth, Karakas. Like, I've been looking at this guy; he looks decent, and since last season,
I think somebody mentioned in the chat, but yeah.
I like him. He seems like he would be a decent
By the way,
wingback.
Yeah,
can
so
I
Smassy, go
say
on.
it? Man United need get rid of Luke Shaw. I had it with him. He
Yeah, well,
he
I agree.
cannot stay fit. This guy went, he knew he wasn't fit. He still wanted to play in the final. Now he's injured again. He hasn't had to play. Unprofessional. He's so unprofessional. It annoys me so much.
I
Is he
mean,
talented? Yes. But
Mourinho did.
he's never available.
Yeah,
Seldom.
Mourinho did say at the time, and everyone gave him a lot of stick and stuff like that, and they said blah 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 blah.
He was right though, wasn't he?
But he
he
was
was
right.
right.
He
He
was
was proven
right.
right. You know?
Poch even said it at Southampton. Like, he told Luke Shaw, like, you need to be keeping up with what we're training because I can't keep having you fall back. Like, so if it's something that's been happening since his time at Southampton, and LVG said it as, I can't believe, oh my God, LVG said it as well. LVG said it as well. He said even after the double leg break, or even before the double leg break, he was saying, look, come on, bro. Like, the best Luke Shaw we've seen was just up until that double leg break. And then that's one thing, I think it was October or November run to the Euros, where everyone was calling him Shawberto Carlos. Like, why can we not get that Luke Shaw. Why
It
can we
only
not get
exists for
that guy?
5 or 6 games though, doesn't it? And then he gets injured. It
Gets
doesn't stay
injured.
fit long enough. I
He
think
wasn't.
I'm agreeing with, like, I'm not sure that the name of the person on the stream, but the one that said unprofessional. It's definitely unprofessional. He went for a major tournament because he thought that he could get a trophy. We saw him play for England. He wasn't fit for most of the games, and now he's injured. It's ridiculous, isn't it? And I think Luke Shaw alienated any fans that he had at United, pretty much going, right, that's it, you need to go now.
No, but the media keeps spinning that narrative of, but when Luke Shaw is fit, when he comes, I was like, guys, are you not tired of saying when Luke Shaw was
Lewis
fit?
Saha. Lewis Saha,
Like,
I really like Lewis
yeah.
Saha as a player, and he was a player that he'd be fit, score like 6 goals in 6 games, then get injured for 4 months. Then he'd come back, 8 goals in 8 games, injured. And at the end, it's like, you have to move him on. He just can't play football consistently enough to contribute towards trying to win titles.
This is another Phil Jones that we have. Like, availability is the best ability. Like, how do you get injured after
one
being
game a year,
injured
isn't it?
already?
If Malacia
Phil
comes
Jones
back,
is like there to train medical staff, I think. He's not there to play football.
if Malacia comes back before Shaw, Shaw definitely
Yes.
get. Shaw definitely. I don't know what's happened to Malacia, you know. So that's
Someone said
thing.
Someone said they saw him training on the pitch with the squad the other day. So he's somewhere.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. He could be. If that's what I'm saying. If Malacia is back before Shaw, then like I don't know what you can do. I don't know what you can say.
You know what's even funnier? It's not even Malacia. Luke Shaw. I'm saying this to you now. If Mason Mount gets back fit before you after he picked up another injury on top of the one he already had, you're getting flogged.
Yeah, it's just. So
the English media is so protective over him. I can't believe it.
Let's just wrap up and finish off the starting 11. So, who did everyone say was going to play alongside? Or who do you say we're going to play alongside Agate potentially? Is it Manu or Casemiro?
I would go with Manu, to be honest.
It might be Manu, but unless
I want Manu as the number 10. Give him freedom.
That's not a bad shout.
I give him the freedom.
But do you think Amorim will play him there? That's the key. This is the key thing. This is Amorim starting. Do you think he'll play there?
Might take him off the bench and say, Manu, you're a young kid, not yet. We need you to come off the bench.
I mean, because whoever is going to play in the front three, they're going to have to do a lot of pressing. So, who do you guys think?
Man United most creative player. He actually,
unless we throw Bruno next to Agate.
No. Oh my God, Bruno as a midfielder puts my head in. No.
It's only because, like the people said, Sporting press high and press a lot. So, and Bruno never seems to. Bruno never seems to get injured or run out of energy.
Yeah, but that's why you have Ugarte though, because Ugarte now is going to be able to press without having to worry that much about his position.
Exactly, because
at least like in the first phase,
he already know how to play this system.
Yeah, I mean, Ricardo chats is also possible Bruno Ugarte. So
it could be Bruno, it could be Manu, could be Casemiro. I think that the fact is we got slightly more options than we thought we had in midfield.
Eriksen is coming back. Well, some of these guys are leaving, so
yeah,
we kind of need to think.
Eriksen, Casemiro got to be probably not in long-term plans.
Yeah,
no, they're not.
Collier is coming up through the ranks. Harry Amas is there as well, so there are people that they might think about bringing up through the ranks.
So what's the panel votes? What's the panel votes on who's next for Ugarte then?
I think it is going to be Casemiro because we don't actually know what his plans are for Kobe yet. Because I think it's too, like Rich said, it's too much to be putting Kobe Manu in the starting 11 every game. The guy needs a rest, man. He looked so upset when he got taken off the last game he played, and when he got injured, he just looked like, why am I here kind of thing. So, yeah.
Also, that's a good point. Bruno's too much when he plays deep. He's better near the edge of the box with less time to think.
Yes.
I think that's true.
Instinctive player.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
always even when he's around the box. Sometimes he thinks too much and does silly things. So,
Hero ball.
so the wing backs. So I mean, I was hearing Anthony calls. Are we legit saying, or are we going, or because I mean, no one's talked about Dallo, so we're saying,
No,
I
I
think
mean,
I think I think
it's going to be
Dallo and
Anthony and
Mazraoui are
Dalot.
shouts, aren't they?
Yeah, it might either be Anthony and Dalot or Dalot and Mazraoui.
I would, you know,
I feel like you'll probably go for
Mazraoui
a combination of like
fits the
of a
system
fullback and a
perfect.
winger.
Probably.
Sorry, Samasa, what did you say?
I would prefer Mazraoui because he's actually more of a wingback than a fullback. So
Fine.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, he can play the 10. We saw it. Ten Hag was doing all his experiments.
you know,
Yeah.
he can play as a 10. He can play as a 6. He can play as a wingback. He can play
I think
as a
he looks
fullback.
better as a wing
He
back
is
than right
Yeah.
back. I think Maz is like a good signing for us. I think he would look good in that position.
No, I agree. Right, okay.
He looks
so-
like a really consistent player, doesn't he, Mazraoui? He looks like
Listen,
like
I don't know what Bayern saw to him. This is gonna be, this is such a mistake from Bayern because he's never bad. He's always consistently good. He's never bad.
But everyone kept saying that it was the injuries, but I don't think it was. I couldn't tell you.
It was not the injuries.
Yeah,
From what I can,
we'll keep it. Yeah, it's somewhat
it
political.
was.
So we'll
It
leave
It
it
was
there.
political.
Yeah,
Of
we'll
course.
leave it
Oh
there.
my goodness.
Leave it there.
And they thought bringing Eric Dyer to play at centre back was a good idea. Oh my goodness, give me a
And
break.
if I speak on Bayern, what's happening there, I'm gonna be in trouble.
You will.
No, Sebastian, relax. You'll throw something.
Yeah, you're on loan to United now as well. So right, okay, finally, so we've got to round things up. The front three, because the front three, because so we basically have to pick. We've got Rashford, Hoyland, Xerxes, Anthony, and Ahmad and Ganacho. That's basically.
Wait, is Horland is healthy, right?
Yeah, Hoyland is fit.
I think he's going to be a starting striker.
I think Hoyland's probably got to be leading the line, hasn't he?
Who? Sorry, Richard.
I think Hoyland's surely got to be in there.
You think it could be him? So we'll
I think I think he might lead as well. I have this feeling that Xerxes might come off the bench in a different role.
Mm-hmm.
I think Hoyland's gonna start this off. But my thing with Hoyland is, I understand that you said last season you was wrestling with all these guys, but I need to see more from you.
Apparently, doesn't Amorim play two number 10s
behind
the
like
striker?
Free roaming number
If that's
10.
because then if that's the case, then it's gonna be Xerxes. It can't be Hoyland then.
So basically Xerxes and then Bruno then, effectively.
I would say Mainu as a 10. And then
Or even Ahmad, because he's gonna need someone that tends to at least be somewhat mobile.
Guys,
That's the thing, though.
None of you mentioned Marcus Rashford, by the way. So
my guess would be that you'd have.
I can't keep relying on this guy to choose when he wants to turn up, because he'll give me 30 goals, then give me 3, give me 10, 20, and then give me 5, and I'm like, brother, if you
think at the
really
moment though, like Ahmad, for all the will in the world, Ahmad and Xerxes aren't really creating enough at Manchester United at the moment. Like the players we haven't mentioned, Garnacho, Bruno, Rashford, they're reliable goal scorers. Okay, they haven't been great recently, but there's no way Ahmad would get ahead of Rashford at the moment based on his ability. I know there's hope for the future, but I think he's just lacking experience. Though he's 22, he's just not played anywhere near the amount of games other players had at that age. I think Ahmad is a great one for the future. I think at the moment, people are even saying that behind the striker, Bruno Fernandes, I think Like Bruno Fernandes is surely in this team.
That's what I'm saying. It's if it's got to be. It's presumably it's got to be Bruno and
Someone.
I don't know whether it'll be Xerxes, even though it makes sense for it to be Xerxes because that's actually his kind of 9.5 position or whatever. And I would actually like to see kind of how Xerxes and Højlund could kind of play off each other, which we didn't really see under Ten Hag.
It's just idiotic.
But it won't be him, will it? It'll be Bruno and
Probably Garnacho or Rashford, one of. But I'm slightly leaning more to Garnacho because
Rashford doesn't have the ability of a 10. He's more thing. I'm gonna say it. I would say it's gonna be Mainu or Bruno, Mainu Mount, Mainu 6. It's gonna be Mainu and somebody who's available who can play the 10.
Or he might bring someone from Sporting to help play that position.
Yes.
Well, I mean, this. I guess this is where Mount, in theory, should, even though he's injury prone, should come in.
Yeah.
I guess Mount and Bruno together. Or
Man
Mount.
United is number 7, by the way.
Please, Samasi, don't remind me, man. Oh, the Glazers and all them guys who let that happen.
Oh, well, I mean, we're talking about Shorten. What about Ericsson? Why can't Ericsson play?
Ericsson is
good.
If he's on,
I think he's too old
fit,
to do the kind of running.
He can be fantastic number 10.
He could, but
I think he's just too old.
A younger Ericsson would cook. A younger
like the kind of running Amorim expects us for. So yeah, like he should be 30 minutes, or we need to control the game for the last 30 minutes. So go help the midfield. Like he's not doing what Amorim needs to do in the final play.
Yeah, because he's got Trincao and them guys and Marcus Edwards doing the whole running around thing. So I'm thinking Ericsson doesn't have the legs to do this. Plus, half of these guys probably be leaving anyway.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, because I feel like there's players at Sporting that he might want to bring. Like, what's that guy? Starts with a H. Is it Hudmland? Is it Hudmland? Yeah. I don't remember how to pronounce his name.
I'm sure. So I'm not, unfortunately, not familiar with the Sporting.
Yeah,
guys, so.
Book said it in the chat.
Yes. Okay. And Ricardo said, do you want Marcus Edwards as well? Bossa says Ericsson will play as a second 10 for maybe one more season max, then gone. That's possible as well. But it's a huge shout. So
I think you can start with Bruno sometimes, Ericsson some games, or if cause for me, I think Bruno Fernandes further forward is a much better player.
Yeah, he is.
We know like his creativity. He's light years ahead of most of the players in the team regarding that.
I just don't like Bruno Fernandes. I don't rate him as a footballer. I think has been an awful captain for Man United. And his attitude stinks. So
do you think that with Bruno though? Bruno's never given up in a game. Like you could say that. You could say like his attitude, his body language. He never doesn't give up.
God! There is. Are you kidding me?
Is this what we're? Well, I'm is this what we're saying? Is this what we're saying? Is this
new Manchester United in 2024? Yes, this is what we're saying.
Is this what we're saying? Because
listen, put Garnacho out, put Mainu in.
I mean, I want Mainu to play, but I'm just thinking realistically, like, how is he going to start his 11 and what's he's going to build? And I would imagine, I mean, Garnacho.
Talent-wise, he's Man United's best player. He is the future of Man. If you want to build around the player, it's gonna be Mainu, so he has to start. Should he start every game? No, but he probably will.
He does have to get into this team. I don't know. I just have a feeling that he won't start, or maybe he'll, like I said, maybe because I think the Portuguese connection, so Casemiro will start, and he knows Agati, so that midfield, that whole midfield for kind of picks itself if he's going to play that way. So the top three, it's like who basically misses out. Ahmad probably will. Bruno isn't going to. Højlund strikers, so it's basically Garnacho versus Rashford, Xerxes, etc. And the only reason why I might put Rashford there is just because it's Marcus Rashford. It's Manchester United. He has a lot of sway at the football club, and
he shouldn't play.
But it's not enough. It's not enough for me.
Another thing though, if you put Rashford, and Rashford's not on the wing position, Rashford's a lot closer to goal. He's way more effective. But I know Garnacho is an exciting player, but at the moment, like honestly, if you give them like the same amount of games, same amount of chances, Rashford's more clinical, and Garnacho is. I know there's a lot of negativity about Rashford because he had a ridiculous season a few years ago, then followed up with disappointing seasons. But don't you think that the way the team's been set up, the way the team's played as a team, has made individual players look terrible in a lot of games? Like, it's made Casemiro look
Rashford's
appalling.
definitely been hung out to dry. I shameless plug here.
Rashford can't cover the amount of pitch he's expected to cover defensively. You put him closer to goal, give him chances, and you're going to see a way better player. Like,
Rashford's biggest issue has been more so that he's just not been getting any chances. Like, shameless plug. I did a video on your bum ass ex-manager, and one of the things that I referenced is the fact that for the entire season, do you know how many shots Rashford has had this entire season so far?
I think it's like, damn, that's crazy.
8. Like, you're
crazy.
I really don't understand
how many chances has Xerxes had, because I think Xerxes, I've seen him have some great chances. If they fell to Rashford, and Garnacho has missed a lot of chances as well.
Let me change this.
Like, I don't really understand what Todd's mindset was.
Rashford's got 4 goals, isn't he? So he's got 50% of his shots have been goals.
And but half of those came against Barnsley.
It was just 8 in the Prem, so obviously it'll be more overall. But basically, my point is that if you're Ten Hag, right, and this player that you have in your first season just nets you 30 goals and 9 assists, and then you go out of your way to make sure that you don't put him in those same positions to replicate that. It's
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't make it just boggles the mind. Like, I don't, because the beef that I have with Ten Hag is that if you're gonna come in and you're gonna be a philosophy merchant, right? Like, you're gonna be like, I need my tactics to play this beautiful football, whatever. And then you're not even doing that, and you're still losing, then why are you here, right? Like, if you're losing, but you can see the development, you can see the players trying to understand, okay, that's one thing. Or if you're just going to abandon your philosophy altogether for results, that's fine. But if you're doing neither and you're accomplishing nothing, then it's like just quite literally a waste of time.
There's no players like you can't coach Rashford into being a different player. In the same way, you can't coach players to do things that they're just not capable of.
It's too late for Rashford.
Yeah, I feel like this is the time.
He is the player he is. He will not change.
Yeah,
I think the player that you got at Rashford is not going to improve, but you can get way more out of Rashford. Than we've seen.
I don't disagree there. I think that I mean, my frustration with Rashford has always been actually more so his footballing intelligence and actually his ability, where like you're like, come on, Marcus, you should have passed the ball there. Come on, Marcus, you should have at least tried to
make it's just the worst.
So
I think a lot of them.
RDS, you know who I blame for this, RDS? A certain Portuguese manager that I'm not going to name.
Right, Jose.
I didn't name any names, RDS. I just all I'm saying was when Marcus first made it to the squad, the Dutch guy was like, "Hey, new premier striker on our hands, bro." And then the Portuguese guy came in, brought in a 35-year-old, broken down, only played 1 year, Zlatan, and then brought in a Belgian that he shipped out after 2 years. Told Marcus to go hack it out on the wing. And then ever since then, this is where you've gone. So that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, but Marcus said he loves what Mourinho. I think is it he learned more from Mourinho than he did most.
Well,
So
you can learn, but I would
I
go as far
think
as I think he
I
learned the
think
wrong. He
it
picked up
had
the wrong
more to
tactics.
do that Russia doesn't have a consistent manager and a system to thrive on. So it's
yeah,
always chop and change, chop and change. So I feel quite sorry for him because he had the talent to develop into something great, but it's just didn't really work out for him.
Right. So just final thoughts because I've got around because I've got work going. I know that it's I know in the UK, yes, I do have a night shifty type of work thing that I do in the next 5 minutes or so. So I think I'll just ask the chat and also just go quickly for the panel. Um, the last question before we go is under Amorim, how successful? Well, I asked the United fans what you expect from Amorim this season, what you want him to achieve, and what you expect him to achieve. And then SK, what I would ask you, because you're obviously not the Manchester United fan, is what do you like? What do you expect him to achieve this season effectively? So, Rich, what do you expect? Well, what do you want him to achieve? What do you
Yeah,
expect
what
him?
I'd love to achieve, I'd love to try and win the Europa League. I think Manchester United have got a competition where we haven't done well recently, but looking at the teams there, we should be looking to be one of the favourites in that competition.
Mm,
And that would be a good achievement. But also, we're not going to have teams dropping from the Champions League into that competition like we have in previous years. So I think we need to be competitive. I think league-wise, we've got to perform much, much better. But the only way we get top four is really relying on other teams to fall apart, like Chelsea and Villa have already put points on the board. I think realistically, we finish in a Europa League type position, assuming improvements over the season. But I think hopefully what I want to see is I'm not going to be too disappointed if we get a few bumps in the road. I'd like him to try and at least evaluate the squad effectively, give everyone like chances and games based on how they're playing, and try and work out like who we can axe in terms of making us an effective squad. Like if Rashford doesn't work out, like I know I back him more than most people. 100% move him on. If Bruno Fernandes isn't needed, move him on. I think you need a manager that's going to just come in and go, look, these players aren't good enough. And I hope the management of the football club backs exactly what the manager wants in terms of like fixing the squad because I know people are really suspicious of the players. I'm kind of a bit more lenient on a lot of the players and think, look, a better system, and we can probably
mm,
we can make a lot of these players look a lot better. Like we've looked at these
mm,
players over the last few months and thought, wow, we're terrible. We're hovering above relegation. We should not be anywhere near that. And I think with an
mm,
effective organisation and a good manager, we're going to see like Emery at Aston Villa. Stevie G had no idea what to do. Emery came in, transformed the team from like 17th up to like
mm.
now the top four and beaten Bayern Munich. So I'm hoping maybe not as dramatic as that because Stevie G was trash, but hopefully a big improvement, and that's what I'm hoping.
Thanks, Rich, man. Appreciate it, buddy. 14 FC, man. What are you hoping to happen, and then what are you expecting to happen?
um, I'm saying a top 7 or 8 finish, like finish in the top half at least, because I feel like we've wasted a few games where we could have pushed at least closer to the top 4. But the Europa League, it's going to be a difficult one because some of the players have already let us down, and Ten Hag's let us down. We haven't won a game, so we categorically have to win the next 5 Europa League games to at least finish within the top 8. So I'd say at this point, top 7 and a Europa League or an FA Cup for me. What I expect to happen and what I would also like is we need to see a consistent style of play. That's all I've been wanting for these last few years, like a consistent style of play that we can see and be like, yeah, we know how we're going to play today. We know what the players have been coached. And just try to pick up some points and win some games because I'm tired of watching hoofball and hero ball where everyone is trying to play a different system. And I just need Amorim to coach these guys. Just coach. I feel like a lot of these players haven't been coached from the day they stepped into Man United. Like it's half-assed. Like a lot of these guys have been left to fall through the cracks or not shown how to do even the basics. I just need these group of players to be coached. Some of them are uncoachable, but hopefully he can get it right.
No, thank you, Chief. Thank you on FC. Samasi, obviously on loan to Manchester United. What do you think? What do you hope for this for him to achieve, and what do you expect him to achieve?
I have for better football, attacking football. I want to see Man United dominate our teams finally, because we haven't seen that in the last few years. And maybe a trophy. I think it's gonna be Europa again, because I think we lost too many points at this moment, and the other teams are so much better right now that I don't think even Amorim can help us. But I want to see system. I want to see a style from him, and that's all. Maybe a trophy, but that's all I'm asking for. Because listen, I've been suffering this season. I've been suffering, so that's all I'm hoping for.
Yes, Samasi. And
And
lastly,
maybe develop some players in the youth team. That's all.
Zaya says Samasi's prison sentence MUFC got upgraded to a luxury cruise in the Caribbean. Oh man, yes. It gets better.
And
It gets
a lot
better.
of people laughed at me because I went alone to Man United. Who's
I was one
laughing
of them.
now? Who's
I
laughing?
mean,
Who's
we
listen? If listen, I'm gonna say it, if Man United are in the top four and Chelsea aren't, I will come back
Mm.
with the biggest receipts.
oh
I
yeah,
So
will
yeah.
come.
Massey, we're gonna have to run up that certain humans live stream because
Have
I
hope. You better be ready. Have hope. You better be
have
ready.
hope we're calling you out. You
We're
better
playing,
not lose to this Man United team on Sunday because if
we're,
you do, we're here.
relax, 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 relax,
No,
relax,
y'all
relax.
got that, bro. Y'all got that.
Yeah,
I'm actually scared of y'all this weekend now, bro. Well, I don't
and
know. I don't know why y'all couldn't wait one more week, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
SK,
I
don't
don't
worry.
blame me.
Chelsea are the favorites. Cole Palmer is one of the best players
Yeah,
in the league. I think
Caicedo is the
Hope
best
you're gonna
midfielder.
beat us.
I think you
Chelsea are
guys
gonna beat us.
will be
Listen,
fine.
listen. I'm not gonna. I still don't believe in this Chelsea team. And give me like another 2 months.
What? I thought Jackson was the Drogba region. What's going on here?
Well, I listen.
Hey,
Chelsea are going through what I like to call the gauntlet. So,
The
and
go-
the gauntlet doesn't end until the middle of December. So,
oh yeah, because you got to play Arsenal after Man. Oh my goodness.
if Chelsea are in and around the same position by the end of December, then we can. Then I might entertain a conversation. But until then, I'm keeping my mouth locked.
Mm,
um,
Well, and your
I have
final
a
thought,
question.
go on.
Why have Chelsea spent the billion have the worst defense, the worst defenders I've seen? Like
the Chuckle Brothers at
Disaster.
back.
Like how? How? That's the first thing you improve on is your defense, because that's the only where you can really win the league or a cup.
No comment.
No comment.
I said he's got the Chuckle
Right,
Brothers at the back.
guys, I've got to end the stream. End the stream now because I've got to head off to work. So, but thanks to everyone on the panel. This has been a actually really, really good and informative chat. Rich, thank you for coming on, guys. From the chat,
It's a
make
pleasure.
sure
It's
you
been a
head
long
over.
time, G. It's been too
It
long,
has
hasn't
been,
it?
and I'm gonna be. I'll make sure that I go onto your your channel as well. If you're going live for the Chelsea game, or then some, So I need to hop on as well. So it's,
Oh yeah,
it's
no. I definitely need some people to chat nonsense with about this game this weekend. So please,
Hopefully, I'm at OT this Sunday. Hopefully.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Fingers
Please give us
crossed.
your
Fingers
channel
crossed.
as well, So, but remember, guys, Remember, if you're new to the channel, to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter at I said Red Devil Studio X because I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Twitter just cancelled my account for some reason. I've got no idea.
I was wondering why I couldn't find you earlier. I was like,
no
where's
idea
this guy?
why.
I was looking for the Shadow the Hedgehog icon, man.
No,
No,
Elon
I have-
Musk is the biggest.
What have you
I
done,
have
G? You
zero
wrote something about
idea
Musk.
why.
Elon Musk, did you? He's
It's just
cancelled
they
you.
just accused
What
me
he
of
did to
something,
Twitter,
like,
yeah.
they just said I got literally no. I asked them why we done it. They said it just makes zero sense. So I'm sorry about that, guys. But yeah, I've got my new one is Red Devil Studio X. You can see at the bottom. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, that's our message. Message, folks. Right, peace out, everyone, and cheers. Peace.
Bye.
All right, we're free.
Cheers, G.